Nubian Perspectives podcast, brand new episode. I have one of my childhood friends here. We're fortunate to grow up together in Tacoma, Washington. He's a local artist, entrepreneur, doing his thing out here. The first guest to the show. Please show some love for my friend, my family member, Totolua.
That's my own nigga did it. What's going on, y'all?
That's what's up.
Nubian Perspective in the house.
Nubian Perspectives podcast.
Yes, sir.
Brand new episode. We're doing our thing live, Northwest. Got it cracking out here. So I know I took a hiatus for like a month, so I'm back. Tofik's not here this episode. We'll have him back next episode. But right now, my friend, my family member, he's an upcoming artist in Tacoma, Washington. So he's going to tell us about his music, what he does, where he's performing at, all that, his perspective on the music industry. And so just to get started, please let everyone know what your name is. You already said that. What your name stands for and what you're about.
So it's Totolua, Totolua, and then you can go .com to follow me on this. We'll get to that too. But yeah, man, it means mixed breed, mixed blood, two-blooded. I understand I was raised on hilltops, so I was around the crib, so don't get it twisted. Listen, I ain't even no gang member. I'm just a hustler, baby. But yes, Totolua, man, island style, man. I'm black and Samoan, so I really represent, both sides. But it's one of them things, man. Can't be black enough, can't be Samoan enough. So fuck it, man. Totolua, man.
Okay.
Mixed it up.
I did not know that's what the name is. So it means
two-blooded.
Two-blooded. Okay.
Yeah, mixed blood,
that's
or mixed breed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Totolua, how long have you been recording and performing?
So I've been we've been writing and doing this since I was 9, but to actually share it with the world and doing this, it's been 2015, so 3 years now, just pushing. So
for the last 3 years, you've been recording and performing, but you've been into music and like rapping since you were 9.
Yeah, writing, rapping at the homie's house when his dad used to have all the mics. Me and Rich Dog back in his mother, bitch back up for you suck my and all that good stuff.
Got you. So this is like a childhood dream come true, and now you're pursuing your dreams in your career.
For sure.
Definitely. Now, were you with a group before, or is this like your first time coming out? With your solo music, were you with a group project before?
No, never with the group project. Other than, again, just stuff that we were playing around with when we was kids.
Got it.
Me and my homeboy Rich Dog, Richard Green. Shout out to you, baby.
Shout
love
out
you,
to
man.
Richard Green, much love, brother.
Two Most Wanted, Big Baby. That's what we used to do back then. But he had a Snoop Dogg type of swag. Death Row was popping back in them days, so I was
definitely 3 until that 5.
Right. So most definitely, just I do it for us. I do it for him. I do it for everybody. I do it for my mom. But yeah, this is what we doing, man. We grinding
for sure. So, do you think it's tough to break into the rap game as an independent artist, especially coming from not just independent artists, but from the Northwest? In Tacoma, we have seen artists have success out of Washington, but let's on the mainstream to get up to we got Macklemore, sort of Mix-a-Lot coming out of Seattle, and we know growing up here and being here that there's a bunch of artists with skills, but to make it to that label, do you think it's tough as an independent artist in general and from this area?
For sure. I think it's a yes and no answer. For one, you got to believe in yourself.
Okay.
That's the key goal, because if you don't believe in yourself, can't nobody else do it. But what I see here in our area, and I know it's in other areas, New York is supposed to be the Mecca. Do you think that everybody was rapping? Of course. But then they all had to find their own lane, right? Some people had to be B-boys, some people had to be DJs, and that's worldwide. So no matter what, it's always kind of like a crab pop mentality. In Tacoma, being that we're from here, there's a lot of artists. Everybody's a rapper. Everybody says that, right? And there's a lot of rappers here. There's a lot of people who do videos here. There's a lot of people who DJ. There's a lot of people that listen. Who cares? Focus on yourself and grind. Stop worrying about what is going on in your circle. And then if you do that, if you focus on yourself, if you're able to do that, and just focus on yourself and the people that supporting you, you'll get to where you want to be.
Got it. So what are some of the, if you had to talk about the Northwest and being an independent artist, what are some of the barriers you see as an independent artist to getting your music out into getting up to that next level for people to hear you? Because we know we got the internet, which is great.
Right.
You know, we have technology so people can access, but still, you know, as me and you know from living here, I think there's a bunch of people with talent in Tacoma, Spokane, Seattle, Olympia. But as far as like getting to that level where people in different states across the you know country and across the world know of you, what are some of the barriers coming out of this area?
As far as the barriers,
again,
it really does come down to self, right?
Okay.
Because it's like, I mean, I'm gonna shout out a few artists, and no disrespect to artists that I ain't shouting out, but like Lucario from Time Out. This dude can sing. This dude could rap. I mean, he could probably rap circles and sing circles around almost every artist up in here, including myself. But what it's really about, it's all about believing in yourself, staying focused on yourself, and pushing. And then there's other artists out here too. You know, shout out to Young Mister that I fucks with. Shout out to Crew Boy Verse. He's a Carolina artist, but he's with FYE The Mob. Shout out to the Mob. But you know what it is really believing in yourself and focusing on yourself. Yes, there's talent everywhere.
So you're saying basically, like, it sounds like you're saying you can get sidetracked if you're not focused no matter where you're at. So it's not just tailored to the Northwest. It could be Alaska, it could be Oregon, it could be Idaho, Montana, or Texas. You can get sidetracked with whatever. That makes sense. So with that, just in general, as somebody who's a fan of music, as someone who, you know, is a musician herself and an artist, who are some of your favorite artists you listen to and bump?
Can I give two parts to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so obviously there's some people that from back in the day that are inspirational to what I do now. But you know, DJ Quick was one that I feel like, as far as West Coast, as far as just kind of like still giving you a little bit of that gangster, but he, I'm a gangster.
He got some.
No, I'm not. You a gangster? No, I'm not. You was a gangster? No, I'm not. So I messed it up.
He got that G funk too. I didn't. Okay.
And so you add that, and then one of the ones too, another underrated one from the West Coast that I grew up on that I love, and I mainly, you know, Tupac introduced me to him, but it's Spice One, because he actually does talk about some real shit. Some real shit. So pay attention to these artists that I said. I didn't say anybody that you might have thought, but DJ Quick and Spice One. Yo, these are some cats that been doing it, still could do it, and probably still are doing it as far as the music that you're hearing. I know for sure for DJ Quick, he's putting out a lot of the stuff that you hear in the Bay, even around the world. Yeah,
I didn't know he was still producing like that.
Yes, for sure. And if you pay him the right amount, he probably even spit something for you. Yeah, but nonetheless, a legend.
So outside of that, are there any artists off the West Coast that you would say that you like to bump or
for sure. I mean, obviously, again, I'm not gonna say the obvious like Nas or Jay-Z. Those guys, salute to them. But one of the ones that influenced me about my swag too was Method Man. You know, he can do it in a group and carry the group. In my opinion, I mean, I know there's some Wu-Tang fans out there. I get it. I wasn't like a huge Wu-Tang fan, but I did fuck with Wu-Tang. But as far as the swag, as far as just, he didn't even have to have too many bars, but his swag would carry the bars. You know what I mean?
We gotta watch out too. I think we're shaking the table a little bit. So for everybody out there, people. We did. We're in growth mode right now. Nubian perspectives. We're still growing. Brother's still coming up. You know. Don't hate. Hopefully soon we'll be in a new location. But for right now, it's at your boys. My bad. I didn't cut you off. Back to Totolua.
No, for sure.
MBTHOD, man.
You know what I mean. And then as far as the artists that I noticed that y'all talked about on your podcast that I really, really love, and
tuned into some episodes.
Tuned into some episodes. Y'all need to be tuning into some episodes too. If you're sleeping, wake up. Listen, man. Because my father's from Jacksonville, Florida, so I grew up, even though I'm not from the South, I grew up with the Southern swag. People around here, you always used to ask, where you from? Yeah. Where you from? I'm from Washington.
I got you.
But yo, Big Crit, man. I've been fucking with Big Crit, man, since forever. You know what I mean? About 5 years. My cousin came from Jacksonville and stayed with me, and I introduced him to Big Crit. So I mean, this dude, what I appreciate about him is that his swag, kind of like Method Man, right? He don't have to hit you with so many bars like a Nas or maybe a Sci-Hi to Prince would or something like that. Them what they call them God bars. He ain't got to do all that. But his swag, he'll take a word that is there and how he says there in essence and how he says it and where he places it will make his bar just sick. You
well,
know
he's definitely I think of that brother as he's kind of like an introspective as to far as like what he could do with rap. Like he can spit lyrics, he can tell a story, he can have a club song. I look at him in this generation as a full circle. And also, he's not being a follower, and not no disrespect to mumble rap, but he's original. He's not gangsta.
Yeah.
He's not, or he's not. You know what I'm saying? So far right gangsta, and he's not mumble rap. He's himself. He might have some gangsta in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's definitely original and being himself. And so, like, just to hear you talk, I wanted to say my favorite real quick off the West Coast. I have to say Corrupt and Sibo. Growing up on the hilltop, definitely got love for the blue.
Sibo,
and I think Sibo came out, you know, when I was in middle school. But my first time really bumping him was my 9th grade year at Foss. When he was bumping with that. You know, Gas Chamber.
Another one that Tupac introduced me to was Sibo. Kind of like the Spice one, Sibo. That kind of all came in the same time.
And a lot of people didn't know. I think when people talk about Pac, a lot of people don't know that when you look at who's making Pac remakes now with the mainstream, Pac wasn't really messing with those cats. He was messing with West Coast. He was messing with Yuck Mouth, Sibo, E40, Spice One, The Outlaws. He was messing with a lot of underground brothers. And now when people are remaking his music from like different places, it's kind of as a fan, I'm like, I think somebody said if Pac was alive, we can make songs with these people. So it's interesting. But anyway, to move off of that, I also want to give a shout out to Scarface, Slim Thug. I think those brothers are really talented. Also, Troy Ave on the East Coast. I'm a huge Nas fan. Raekwon and Method Man. And so, but back to my brother Totolua. So we're talking about like artists, and you said that you've been influenced heavily, or two of your artists that are favorite artists are Spice One, as well as DJ Quick. Would you classify your music as West Coast?
Yes, for sure. You know, I got my cousins in the South and on the East Coast. They all say, "Man, you sound so West Coast," and I don't. I mean, I know what it sounds like, but I'm just so West Coast. I don't know what it sounds like. You know, it's one of those. It's like it is what it is.
That's interesting. So basically, when you see your music to your family that don't live in the area. They say you're influenced by the. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And they know because I mean, like in essence, when I'm sending my music, and the reasons of why I'm sending my music to my family is because they're the ones that's actually really helping me produce and create the music. Shout out to my cousin Young Swain. You know, the Diss people, some of the tightest mixing, mastering, and production. Period. So I mean, but. He's able to see it, what's going on in the Jacksonville. I got people in Houston, cousins saying, "Hey, we got the whole Samoan niggas out in Houston. You need to come to Houston." So I'll be there in a minute. Check out this podcast, and then I'll be there in a minute.
We're talking about H-Town. I want to give a shout out to Acres Home.
Hey.
Rest in peace to my grandmother Betty Jean. You know, passed away last year, last May. But definitely love for Houston. You know, H-Town where my dad's from. That whole north side, Acres Home, nothing but love. I'll be there for Thanksgiving. The niggas get it crunk down there. But back to spinning what we was talking about as your music being West Coast. So being West Coast music, and I know you got love for the coast, and us being from the Northwest and there being so much pride in the Northwest. I feel like we look at the Seattle Seahawks, they're everybody's team. Like they might be Seattle's team, but people in Olympia, people in Pasco, people in Bellingham, they're Washington's team. You know? Right. And we look at the Legion of Boom and it being some brothers, you know what I mean? Some straight up field Negroes, you know what I mean? Some Mississippi, Alabama brothers, you know?
Virginia too.
You know, and like and then you look at who the ownership is and what they look like, and you look at who they hired, and now them trading certain people away. We could both talk about this, but I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on the Seahawks trading Richard Sherman and Michael Bennett?
Yeah, I see where you're going with it. Now, I mean, most definitely on that side of it, the possible, brothers sticking up for, you know, maybe some other stuff, like even police killing us, you know, in these streets, men, women, and children that are any shade of black, period, and then players sticking up for that, taking a knee or not. This is something that's bigger than that question, but as far as focusing on that question, as far as like Sherman leaving and Bennett leaving as a team perspective on some NFL stuff, I'll stick with the GM hat here on this one, where it's like, look, I was told by a USC brother, you know, who that USC still to his team, Trojans for life, right? He told me, he said, look, Pete knows what he's doing. And he told me this when I'm a homegrown guy. I'm a real Seattle fan. You hear me? I don't really like to even be called a 12th man. I do fuck with the 12s, but I'm a Seahawks fan. I know I got a Detroit hat on. I collect hats. Get off of it. Fuck y'all. Listen, man.
Got a personality.
Yo, man, I'm a Seahawk guy. So listen, Pete said, believe in Pete. So that's what, for me, from my perspective, I do that. I know I don't like a lot of the things that they do. I wouldn't have got rid of Sean. I would have got, I know we needed to make cap room. I wouldn't have done it that way. Bennett, he could have gone. Averill, he could have gone. There's a few other people that is getting long in the tooth that, yeah, you know, but I wouldn't have broke up the LOB like that. I understand Cam, we don't know yet for sure if he's going to be all the way back, even though I think he is. Forget what all them white folks talking about. But I'm just saying, as far as the future of the Seahawks and what they're doing, hey, we used to not know about Sherm. We used to, when they talk about it now, well, we brought Bennett back in. Do you know Bennett was undrafted, came to Seattle, we let him go, he went to go play in Tampa, then we brought him back, and then he finally made a name for himself. So all these guys that we are letting go now, hey, they made a name for themselves, and that's what's going to happen now. The Thompsons of the world, the Delonte Hills that we don't know yet. These are the safeties in the next future, possibly future cornerback. That hey, you know, as far as on some GM Seattle Seahawks talk, I'm riding with Pete and John Schneider on this one, just because it's like, look, they know what they're doing. We won a championship. We gave one away. But we listen.
Gave one away bad too.
Hey, but look, it's so messed up because there has been a gamble, right? I'm a type of Seahawks fan where I look back at the past in my hindsight, right? So here can I just go here for a second?
Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry, people. You got me on my Seahawks tip. So
Seattle Seahawks.
We traded, I think, our number one pick, which was 26 of 2012, for Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin, we gave it to Minnesota. Percy Harvin didn't play that year, or played only a few games.
He's just fucking up.
Right? And then the Super Bowl year, the very next year, he only played like 8 or 9 games then, and then like had a decent Super Bowl game. But we didn't need him to win the Super Bowl. Right, 5 games. So in essence, guess what Minnesota turns around and picks up? Peterson. The number 84 who used to play, he got 3 Pro Bowls. He just signed now to freaking the freaking Tom Brady and the Pats over there, and it's like, damn, y'all, do we have to keep on giving first round draft picks? We would have, if we just would have held on to that, we could have picked Peterson and he would have been way better.
So I think you're going deep, and I think I get what you're. It's all good, bro. Because I mean, see, like they're home team. It's like when we lost the Sonics.
Yeah,
and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, those dudes. It's not a few cats I look up to growing up, and I feel like those cats like. Man, Gary Payton and Sean Kemp for growing up here in Northwest.
Man, see first jamming hoops camps. That's how Hilltop Tacoma I am, motherfucker.
You brought it back.
Man, see first jamming hoops camp.
That shit was cracking.
Tell Derek McKee to stay his ass home. He don't know nothing. Go ahead.
Anyway, my thoughts on that. It's interesting to hear your perspectives. I didn't think about it from a business GM standpoint. I came more from a like black Afrocentric standpoint.
Get that point too.
And I was thinking that their thoughts on picking these 2 brothers, that they're outspoken. Some might call them loud. They're intelligent. Some might see them as defiant. And so I was thinking like maybe they didn't want these brothers here because they're smart, intelligent African American males who are sticking up for certain things like police brutality, racism, taking a knee against the why am I forgetting what it's called? Taking a knee, basically at the. I grew up as Joe Williams. So I don't even know what that shit's called. Anyway, not this Statue of Liberty. What's it called?
Oh yeah. The
national
flag. The national anthem.
Mm-hmm. You gotta give me a second. I didn't grow up doing that. So anyway, national anthem, and so like but when you look at the national anthem and what it stands for, it was it wasn't for African Americans. And when you look at the real version of it, there was a lot of racism in it. So what they're saying, what they're doing, you look at who they are and who the owners are, and I can't help but wonder is that the reason that they were both traded or let go to a certain extent.
For sure.
And your point is a good point too. It is a business, and so. But I also wonder if the people in charge of the business are masking it as he's 33. He's 32. He might not only have so many years, but really, we don't want these problems. So we see that brother Colin Kaepernick ain't got picked up yet.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean? That's what I was going to see. So this past week, to add to your argument, because like I said, I understand that point too, and I agree with that point. I do believe it's a possibility, which is very strongly. Because guess what we did this week? Seattle Seahawks. They called up Colin Kaepernick for the second time 2 years in a row. And they didn't even bring him in this time. They just said, are you going to, supposedly the rumor is, they asked him, oh, are you going to still kneel? And he said, hell yeah. And he said, all right, we can't sign you. And if that was the case,
I heard that.
If that was the case,
social media gossip.
I'm letting you know right now. Put this on social media. Austin freaking Davis, possibly the Seahawks backup. I've been trying to stick it out for a few years now. It's going to be the third freaking year that as a black male in America, we have to sit here and watch the racism that already exists in America be played into the NFL, into the sports that we made and we love to play. But one thing that we're getting tired of in the black community is not owning shit. And so what's going to start to happen, NFL, if you don't fall in line, kind of like how the NBA is doing, NBA, they I know they gave Michael ownership, but we about to start owning some shit like this. We 80s babies, like from us and up, like it's a whole different America. Like my sons, I gave them some strong names. They're gonna be some owners, and everybody's sons are gonna be some owners. If you like it or not, you can try to murk me and all that. Guess what? They still gonna do it. So it's like, I know, like LeVar Ball, for example. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to kind of get off.
But
it's the same type of tip. It's like anytime a black man tries to actually promote his own, or anybody. LeVar Ball could have did this for any black boys, but let him do some things for the white boys. Oh, they wouldn't have said shit. Bet you money. They would have gave him, we'll even help you sponsor this. What it comes down to, I'm speaking to the folks that act like they don't understand. I truly believe you do. But if you don't, let me just break it down like this, man. If you are for America and you're for sports like you are, I'm talking about all the radio hosts, especially in the Northwest, that want to act like Sherm and Bennett leaving and Kaepernick doing this is, if they're standing up for who they are, because they're black men in America just trying to live and make a living for their family, and win and love a sport with what they do. They got a lot of more responsibility than the average person in America. And if y'all can't see that aren't black, I'm just gonna put it that way, that aren't black, then you need to really, like, if you love America, you need to like take the blanket off your eyes and realize that, hey, it is really extra tough for a black male. Like me and this dude right here, we go back. We're very, very fortunate not to only be raised with our fathers that was there for us, but like in our generation of growing up, like we are like 1% of the mugs that are around us. Most of the people we grew up with, dead, in jail, or on drugs. Like for us to be sitting here right here, now in little Tacoma, Hilltop, Washington, man, I'm telling you, even us are affected by like the real shit that's going on in America. It's against black folk, and yet we are criticized for every little thing we do. We'll be criticized for even speaking up right now about this. Richard Sherman and Bennett criticized, and possibly get up out of here. We don't need this drama. Kaepernick, we're gonna call you up because we really need you. If Russell Wilson gets hurt, I ain't gonna trust in Austin Davis to win us a goddamn Super Bowl. That's for damn sure.
And listening to you, bro, you brought it to a different level, because I was listening to you talk and you preach, and it's not just this generation, but let's really talk, because look at black men in America. So basically those two brothers being traded away, and maybe it was a business cap thing, like business and a cap and salary cap, that kind of thing, but maybe it was personality and them seeing it as defiant. And not only them, but let's look at the history of what you were talking about of when black men in America say something. Let's look at what happened. You know, we have, unfortunately, Brother Malcolm X and Martin Luther King assassinated. In another generation, we have Tupac Shakur and Notorious Christopher Wallace B.I.G. also killed. And yes, some may say, argue and say, well, B.I.G. and Tupac weren't talking about the same stuff, but if you really break down what they were doing, it's black men in America making a change and standing up for themselves and being intelligent. And when you have that, you're a threat to society. Let's take it one step further to Brother Marcus Garvey getting kicked out in 1900s, sent back to Jamaica, and Jack Johnson, look up Jack Johnson, y'all. Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight, beating the shit out of white men. And they set that brother up.
Bitches right back at him too.
And they set him up and said that he was promoting prostitution across the state line, really was his wife. That's a whole nother subject. We're going to get back on track real quick. Got me on
just
one.
Just a little bit.
Anyway, we're looking at what we're talking about right now with the NFL in the Northwest and brothers being traded away. What that leads back into my point. What is your thoughts on what hip hop represents? Because hip hop in like the 80s represented a time for change, a time to speak out. I remember growing up and being born in the 80s and looking at Respect Yourself, Queen Latifah, you know what I mean? That shit was hot too.
Salt and Pepper used
you know
to be
what I mean?
thing.
You know, so there was
MC
all this.
Life.
Big Daddy Kane was talking about stuff with Black Power. You know what I mean? It was more of an introspective.
Real hip hop.
Even Humpty was talking about it. Do the Humpty Hump.
Yeah.
It's the Humpty. He's talking about it too. And so we look at hip hop and what it has been and where we're coming from. And like the subject stuff, like being black in America and hip hop, talking about social justice and social rights. What do you think about the current state of hip hop, just for yourself and also as a hip hop artist?
For sure, when it comes to hip hop, because all of this is such a loaded way to come at it, so many different angles. So I believe that, for one, as an '80s baby. Shout out to the Kendrick Lamars of the world, the J. Cole's of the world. It is our duty, not to so much save hip hop, because hip hop don't really need no more saving. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, this is not, even though we created it, the culture has already been stolen. You know how I know? Because especially growing up, and this ain't a shot or disrespect to Eminem. He's one of the greatest rappers out there, one of the, for sure, top 10 in my top 10, and nothing but love for the brother. But I'm just talking about on a politicking situation. I had a teacher say it to me like this one time. He said, and this is a white guy, he said, you know what, you know the world's fucked up when the golfer who's leading is black and the rapper is white. And growing up in the 90s and as 80s babies like we did, like when we talk about a Tupac and we talk about a Biggie, especially a Tupac though, because even in the beginning of this interview, I said, hey, you introduced to Spice One, you ended up mentioning Sibo. These are artists that nobody was focusing on, not because they wasn't talented, because the market on purpose was not trying to support them. You know what I'm saying? But however, if we can change the color of his skin, we'll support it. And so again, no disrespect to M. He's one of the greatest MCs. He'll kill me. I understand it. I get it. I even got a Detroit hat, so chill. But I'm saying though, right, as far as the politics of the world and how it's working in America, in the world period, look, the word nigger in itself, if you did your history on it, it's really not negative like we always think it is. It wasn't negative even before the white folks of America put it on there now. But when you see it in the Bible, in Niger or in other places where it's pronounced different, it was put there because it actually stood for kings and queens, and still stands for kings and queens. We here are a bunch of kings. My son, I got 2 sons. You know what I named them? Kingston and Legend, because I understand what I'm doing. Even don't be fooled by the oos tattoos. I got to represent both sides, so this is what I'm doing. But I'm just telling you, as far as like from the black side of it, I'm not confused about how they're, when I say there, we understand. I hope you guys understand when I say there. I don't know who it is, but the people who running them goddamn shit, and ain't even the Rothers brothers or whatever their goddamn name is. They even puppets. Trump is a puppet. All these dudes is puppets, you know. But if you once you understand that, you are able to at least take a step back and say, you know what? No matter how many times I vote for something, no matter how many times I try to change the situation, you only can focus on your micro situation, your individual situation. And that all the way goes back to even here when you ask me, hey, well, how do artists from Tacoma get out? And like, I'm an artist from Tacoma that's trying to get out. But one thing I understand is I can't be focused on where I am. I got to be focused on where I'm going. And that's what everybody has to focus on. And can't nobody else do that better than yours truly. So that's the whole thing about the world, period.
So when I'm listening to your last comment, I want to jump into another question, because you seem like someone that definitely has not only personality but views on social justice, being biracial, racism, pride, and who you are. And so, like, when I look at so many artists, I see them doing certain things. And, you know, I think E40 had a song called MC Fly By Night when he said they'll have a new nigga next year. This is back when we was in high school, and I'm a huge E40 fan. And he was like, basically, the message of the song was that these labels sometimes sign artists because of the certain kind of like fad that's hot, and then they cut the artist and we never hear of them again. I think we can think of male and female artists that happens to, and then we see somebody we see somebody like with longevity, like a Tech Nine, you know what I mean, who's been here for years. E40
but never got the support.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But then we also see somebody like a Jay-Z who started off and built his own business with Dame, Dame, you know what I mean, and Burks, and basically came up with their own record label. And now Jay is like, he made, like, I think when Tech was talking about it, Tech Nine said, Tech's not becoming mainstream, mainstream's becoming Tech. And when I look at Jay, I see that same thing with him being able to, he's coming, like, I think Tupac described it as, you know, I'm hungry, I knocked on your door, you know what I'm saying? I told you I wanted some food, I was nice about it, you know what I mean? You closed the door in my face. I came back a couple weeks later and said, I need some food, I'm hungry, I'm outside, I'm starving. You didn't let me in, you know what I mean? And then I came back 3 weeks later, now I'm knocking harder, like rat tat tat tat, you know what I mean? And then I come back a month later, I'm kicking in your motherfucking window, you know what I'm saying? So I see these brothers being brothers in America, and I see brothers that are signed to mainstream labels that are successful. I think we all have respect for Nas, you know what I mean? I think he's been signed to a mainstream label. I look at, you know, when I look at what Death Row has done as being their own label and being distributed. I also look at the South and look at Scarface and Rap A Lot Records, and them having their own label and being distributed, and then some artists having success, like Rick Ross, having success on a mainstream label. My question is, would you ever sign to a mainstream label, or would you like to stay independent and then possibly be distributed through a mainstream label?
Most definitely, probably more of the latter, because it's like I have my own thing that I am pushing, and I am also helping push other things. Shout out FYE the mob shit, and then, you know, TPG, True Player Gang, that's me, you know. And so everything that I'm doing is truly, you know, again, it's an understanding that, hey, you know, I'm not out here slanging that, you know what I mean? I'm actually out here hustling as far as taking care of my family, working a 9 to 5. You know, I still got a boss, unfortunately, but I still am a boss because I'm still grinding, and I have that mentality. And as long as I keep on pushing and have that mentality, I'm gonna get to where I need to be, period. But as far as, you know, signing with another label, hey, I'm a grown ass man. I got a mortgage, I got bills to pay. If a label want to offer me a situation where it's gonna help me push my vision, hell yeah, I'm hopping on that with the quickness. But now, if you're trying to give me a 360 deal where I have to sign my life away, I don't get to see my family, it's just I'm screwed for life. Nah, I'm cool. I don't need all that hype.
You basically answered my question. I was going to say, what if Aristera LaFay said, we love your music, you know, we love your music, but we want you to do mumble rap. You know what I'm saying?
Miss me on that. Miss me on that. Because like I said, on an artist level, shout out to the Kendricks of the world, the J. Cole's of the world, and other artists that, you know, I like Big Crit because, you know, I'm an artist that really truly believes in myself, truly believes in my art. So like, that don't mean if you're a mumble rapper, hey, that's y'all thing. So I'ma fuck with y'all. There might be some shit that you might see me around in a video or rolling with certain people. That don't mean that that's my lane. I stay in my lane. So like in my mixtapes or in my next EP, Ambitions as a Writer, that I'll get to as well, like a lot of the stuff that you'll hear from me on my music is some like turn up type shit on some fuckery. But at the same time, that don't mean I don't have real conversation, that I don't think of real issues. And what it is I understand that, hey, if I'm ever gonna get y'all to listen to me, I have to give y'all something. I have to give y'all something to come fuck with me with. I have to create a platform so y'all can come listen to me. And I'm not gonna totally flip it and be on some now pure political on 20 tracks on the whole. Hell no. I'm still gonna always be turning up, showing you that showing you that Island Boy side. But at the same time, I know where I'm from. I know what my father been through. I know what my grandfather and my great grandfather been through. So as black men and as the ooses, you know, like that's why I say Samoan nigga, because really Samoans is just Samoan niggas or any really race out there. There's a lot of shit that we got fucked up as far as what the Howleys is telling us to be believing in, and that's on a whole nother tip. But I'm just letting you know that your boy's conscious, very conscious. So
I have a couple more questions for you before we get out of here, and we kind of got limited time. But due to your last comment, I kind of, and this is picking your brain from someone who grew up with two ethnicities, two nationalities, because I've heard some things, and I've been looking at stuff myself. Shout out to Hidden Colors. So Hidden Colors is a DVD series talking about the history of the planet and also things that have happened to Nubians basically around the world, whether it be Australian people, the Aborigines, the original islanders, Pacific Islanders, the original Native Americans, the indigenous people, the Aztecs, the Mayans. And so that's kind of, you know, check out Hidden Colors. But
for real.
From someone who has grown up, you know, in two ethnicities, the history of the Pacific Islander side, you know, we got limited time, but from what you can say about it, does that date to Mother Africa?
I mean, for me it do. You know what I mean? I understand that in America there was indigenous people here as well. I get that. But it's as far as if we were all to start from Africa, then I mean, according to what they found in science, that's the truth of it. That's the facts of it, as we like to facts.
So my next question, getting back to the music, you were talking about some versatility a couple comments ago, and I listened to your songs, Who You Be With and Change Up. And I thought, you know, you kind of had like a club banger, then you had a song that went deep about a personal situation with family. I thought both songs showed creativity and depth as an artist. And so will we catch that like with your new EP or album coming out? Like what will be the versatility and the range of songs coming out on your albums?
Yeah, for sure. The next one I got coming out on 4/20, Ambitions as a Writer. You know, that's really the Ambitions as a Writer, that title, it ain't on some gangster shit, you know, even though I do have a gangster album, which is called Ambitions as a Writer. That song right there. Shout out to King Wojak from the Hill and Mr. Dog. These are real hilltop Tacoma natives. You know, and you know, I had to keep
Mr. Dog.
Yeah, I had to keep it. I had to keep it gangster on that one. But hey, your boy, don't claim to be no gangster. I am a hood nigga. I'm from the hilltop. I understood. I got to see I lost a lot of people. I got to see people lose people to drugs, again, violence, stuff, unnecessary stuff. But again, another huge thing that we see, that we grew up in 2 Chainz ended up saying this. We grew up in an era where we were supposed to hate our fathers. If we had our fathers, we were supposed to still kind of like give them this negative light, because majority of our people, listen, fuck that. That's what they want us to do. Hey, shout out to Christopher Rice and Mr. Reddicks. You know, listen. You know, if it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be sitting here today, no matter where we stand. But I'll tell you right now, you know, as black men in America, we have to support one another. Period. Because if we don't, you know, for sure, they love that shit. They love when niggas kill each other. They love it. So just keep that shit in mind, you know. But as far as the album goes, Ambitions as a Writer, oh man, it's more so a little bit more fuckery. I got 9 tracks, but at the same time, you know, it's to get y'all to hype up, to party. I'm not always so serious. I've been serious.
So it sounds like you got a couple club tracks, a couple rides to the club, maybe somebody might like to smoke with.
Yeah, something to bump to, something to smoke.
Who are some of the features that will be on the album?
Yeah, well, shout out to Young Mister, another Tacoma nigga that we grew up, brother from another mother. He's doing his thing as well, trying to get his legal marijuana business on. If y'all don't know about that, y'all need to come up with the Northwest. We know all about that. Anyway, as far as that goes, you know, shout out to my homegirl, Lady Lane. She's on this song called It's So Simple. It's the last track on there. She blessed it a few years ago. We recorded it at Smurf's house. Isaiah Trufant, shout out to you as well. But you know, man, other than that, we got King Wojak and we got Mr. Dog. Sorry if I forget anybody else, but really I try to not have too many features on it this time because it's only 9 tracks. But really gave you more of me. Not too much of too seriousness like in Change Up. You know, that one was from my mom because I had just lost her at the time. And then Who You Be With, that's on this.
It's a great song.
Yeah, that thank you, by the way. But Who You Be With is on here. But that, again, that's shout out to B.I.G. another for, you know, he inspired me to write that song. And then as far as bringing one back because there's so much mumble rap, you know what I mean? And I actually, on that one, I actually gave more bars than I usually like to give, you know what I mean? So don't.
Who You Be With?
No, Who You Be With. The niggas ain't like me.
So if you had to, we got to wrap it up for everybody out there. But if you had to pick one song that's just your banger, just that hitter real quick off this new LP, which one would it be and why?
Man, okay, so this one's gonna come a little later, the video and everything for it, but I'm telling you, Take the Wheel. Oh Lord, just take the wheel. It's one of them things. It's you getting drunk, you get kind of turned to things that you ain't really supposed to be doing. Yeah. But we grown, we having fun, we out here. And sometimes you just get into that moment where you just had too much, and you be like, oh Lord, just take the wheel. And it's gonna be butted bumps though. It's gonna be off the chain. And the coldest part about it, shout out to DJ and producer Toon Boom Gotti who made the track. He's gonna hop on the remix. That's not gonna be on this EP, but it probably will be on the next one. We're gonna drop it, release the video around Halloween. So
do you have any upcoming shows or performances coming up here that people can catch you at?
Man, listen, I don't know when this is gonna date. Today is the Friday the 13th. So in 7 days, 4/20. That's when my mixtape is gonna be dropping on iTunes, Spotify, Google Drive, all the situations. Ambitions as a Writer, 4/20, Totolua, Simone Nigga Did It, and I'm actually opening up for Lazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony in Olympia, Frankie's Bar. Shout out to Miss Tack Talk, Sherry herself. If you ever want to get tickets to this show prior to this, go to tracktalkradioshow.com and purchase your tickets. Follow the link there. You'll see Lazy Bone. Just follow that. But yeah, I mean, that's for me coming up from Hilltop Tacoma. That's a big show for me, and we're gonna do that.
So Lazy Bone next Friday. Yeah, Totolua is opening up. Be there. Frankie's Pub.
You can smoke in there, play pool in there. I'm gonna be selling merch in there. It's gonna be popping.
That's what's up. So how can people get in contact with you to hear your music and see what's going on with you and where you're performing? Like if you're gonna drop music, how are you dropping the music? Where is it at? How can people get in contact with you, hit you up to have you perform or find out what's going on with Totolua?
For sure. So we always are trying to post all my updated stuff on Totolua.com. That's TOTOLUA.com. And then as far as other than that, we're posting everything on iTunes, Spotify, Go all your, man, everything that you done heard of, man. We doing it. Dude, that's if you want to purchase the album and everything. Go through those venues. As far as what my shows and everything we got going on, if it ain't at Totolua.com, check out FYE The Mob with 2 B's at the end.com. That they promoting me. We working out deals. Pat with 2 T's truly repping, and we moving, man. That's how we doing it. Mob shit.
That's what's up. Well, check out Totolua.com. I'm sure my homeboys gonna have some upcoming videos.
Yeah.
This is the episode of Nubian Perspectives. It's Friday night. We about to get into something.
Yes, sir.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. You know how we do. I'll be back with a new episode in the next couple of weeks. But please support my brother Totolua, Totolua.com. His new album's dropping next week.
Yes,
He's
sir.
also got some of his last album posted. Make sure and check it out and support your local West Coast artists. Thank you. Have a great night.